Yes. So thank you very much to everybody. So welcome back to this reading workshop. Uh, Now, I would like to request Professor Bhate to start today's session. I mean, till last time we finished the Tatpurusha section, the Tatpurusha Samasa, and then now basically we'll be heading to the Karmadharaya one. So I request Professor Bhate to start today's class. Thank you.
So thank you, Mahesh. Hello, everyone. But Mahesh, let me tell you that after I looked into this Chandra, I found rule number 17 dealing with one more Tatpurusha phenomenon, that is Chaturthi Prakritya. And I think that rule also we have to clear first, and then we have to move forward with Kashika. Is it okay if I do this way? Chaturthi Prakritya is a rule which we haven't read last time.
Yeah. Yes. Sure. Sure. Yes. Yes.
Moreover, when we start reading Kashika, we are not straight away entering into Kanvadharaya, but there is in between Dvigu. So that also I will have to do if I have to follow the Kashika order. So, and I will follow, of course. So please keep this.
Hello, ma'am. Please set your camera. Your face is cutting actually. Please.
My face is cutting.
Yeah. It's not coming properly. Yeah, little bit you come for yeah. Yeah. So keep camera in front of you. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, little bit up. You can do little bit up.
Little bit up.
Yes. Yes. Correct, madam. Yeah. Please. Yes.
I don't know, even in earlier videos, I saw my face was.
Yeah. Okay.
Simply
Now
doesn't matter.
okay. Now it's okay, ma'am. Please continue, please.
So let's begin with Chandra first. There is a rule, Chaturthi Prakritya, rule number 17. And the rule says Chaturtyantam Subantam Prakriti Vachina Subantena Saha Ekartham Bhavati. All these things we have already studied from Kashika. The only change is that the word Prakriti is mentioned in the Vritti. That is actually not changed. Also in the Sutra, Chaturthi Prakritya, whereas we don't have this in Panini Sutra. So Chandra makes it more clear. Yupayadaru, Yupadaru, Prakritya iti kim Randhanaya Sthali. And then he raises a question about Tadartham, Katham Tadartham. In Panini Sutra, there is a special mention of the word Artha, Arthadartha, Chaturthi Tadarthartha, etc. So he wants now to explain the compound itself, Katham Tadartham, or the compound in the sense of Tadartha. And he gives an example, Matrarthamiti. Matrartham, that is Matuhu idam. No, it's not Matuhu idam, Matre idam. Matre idam Matrartham. Anya padarthe bhavishyati. So that which is meant for mother, and therefore it is Anya padarthe. But this kind of explanation also doesn't exist in Kashika. This appears to be coming from Chandra. Katham kubera balihi gohitam go mukham gorakshitamiti shashtya siddham. Since these compounds, they do not suggest any prakriti vikruti relation, the question is raised. Kuberasya balihi goho hitam, goho sukham, and goho rakshitam. So he has tried to explain these compounds as Shashti Samasa. Whereas in Panini's grammar, they are all Chaturthi Samasas. So that is the only difference. If any one of you would like to discuss on this, he may do it later on. But now I move forward with Kashika. And in Kashika, after we finished last time, this long list of words which are very typical idiomatic expressions. Now there is rule 49. पूर्वकालैक सर्व जरत पुराण नवकेवलाः समानाधिकरणेन सुप्सुपा इति वर्तते tasya visheshanam etat. So this is a stop phrase which we find in the beginning of commentary of each and every sutra. Purvakala ek sarva jarat purana nava kevala ityete subantaha samanadhikaranena supasah samasyante tatpurushasya samaso bhavati. So all these words, they are compounded with the samanadhikarana word. He is going to explain what is samanadhikarana very shortly. So what is samanadhikarana or samanadhikaranyam? Bhinna pravrutti nimittasya shabdasya ekasmin arthe vrittihi samanadhikaranyam. Actually, samanadhikaranya is a kind of a relation which exists between at least two entities. And he has mentioned here only singular. Bhinna pravrutti nimittasya. It should have been bhinna pravrutti nimittayoho at least. Shabdayoho ekasmin arthe vrittihi. So a simple straightforward translation of this would be ekasmin arthe vrittihi. State of being in one and the same meaning. Ekasmin arthe. Of a word, actually of words, having different causes of application. So there may be two or more words having different causes of application. Pravritti nimitta we have already seen, but they have the same location as far as the underlying meaning is concerned. This adhikarana is location, adhara, substratum. Samanam adhikaranam yasham te samanadhikaranaha. So words, the meaning of which rests in the same location, they are called samanadhikarana. So they are samanadhikarana with each other. There cannot be just a single word and we call it samanadhikarana. And therefore this nimittasya shabdasya should be understood as nimittayoho shabdayoho. And this samanadhikarana concept also was explained earlier, so it's not really very difficult and we don't need to elaborate it any further. Purvakala iti artha nirdeshaha and parishishtanam swarupa grahana. Purvakala is not a swarupa grahana. Purvakala shabdaha samasyate iti na arthaha. But then Purvakala refers to its meaning, and therefore Purvakala means a word conveying earlier time, previous time. And avashishtaha, parishishtaha, avashishtaha, whatever he has used, parishishtanam, that is avashishtanam, the remaining. And the rest of the words, they are to be understood in their swarupu, in their own form. Purvakalaha aparakalena samasyate. So these are the examples which are perhaps in Panini's mind when he praised this rule, as it appears from the commentaries. So snatanuliptaha is an example of purvakala. So first, somebody who has taken bath first and then anointed himself. Purvam snataha paschat anuliptaha. So that was the practice in ancient times. After bath, they used to anoint themselves. Even nowadays, they put some cream or something which is a kind of a moisturizer. And then krushta samikritam. Krushta samikritam refers to agricultural land. So this land is adau krushtam paschat samikritam. So it is first plowed and then leveled. Dagdha prarudham. This also refers to the agricultural land. First burn and then grown or sprouted. And you might have noticed also here, perhaps elsewhere, I'm not sure about what happens outside India. But those who are in India, they might have seen these pieces of land being burned after the crop, after the harvest is taken. And then they sow something and then there is a growth. This might refers to that. Dagdha prarudham. Ek shati. Eka shati. Shati refers to a cloth, clothing, loin cloth. And particularly, it refers to a female garment, shati. This is how dictionary tells you. So, eka shati, one single loin cloth. Eka bhiksha, sarve devaha, sarva devaha, sarve manushyaha, sarva manushyaha. Jarad hasti, an old elephant. Jarad grushtihi. Grushti we have seen earlier. Grushti sakrut prasuta gohu. Grushti means a cow which has delivered once. Jarad vruttihi. I could not understand the meaning of vritti here. Jarad vritti. If you find it maybe in Chandra, I don't know. But no explanation is given also in the commentaries, no explanation. This word is also not found in dictionary. So I'm sorry, the exact meaning is not clear to me. Jarad vrittihi. Purana annam, you can think about it. Purana anna, old food. Purana avasatha, old or ancient place of stay. Nava anna, fresh food. Nava avasatha, and kevala anna. Kevala anna, kevala means mere, only. So food alone. Anna annam payam cha. Only anna when it is being served, might be they say kevala annam. Samanadhikaranena iti kim ekasyaha shati. So here we have a relation, ekasyaha shati, maybe swaswami bhava. There is a female, maybe monk, and it is her garment. So there is no samanadhikaranya eka shati, and therefore there is no compound. Dik sankhye saudnyayam. Samanadhikaranena iti apad parisamaptehe anuvartate. The word samanadhikaranena is continued after this, or even from earlier context, till the end of this, of the pada. Apadam or apad samaptehe anuvartate. Digvachana shabdaha sankhya cha samanadhikaranena subantena sah samasyante. Tatpurushasya samaso bhavati saudnyayam vishaye. The words denoting dik, that is directions or cardinal points, and sankhya numerals, they are compounded with a subanta, which is samanadhikarana. And another condition is when a proper name is understood from the compound. Saudnyayam vishaye. So it's again a restricted samasa. This samasa is used only as a saudhya, although its constituents, they convey some meaning. Saudnyayam vishaye. Purveshu kama shami. Purva refers to dik, and ishu kama shami is maybe a name of particular region or a city, as we have in Bombay, east and west. East Dombivli, West Dombivli is something similar to that. It could be Purva Ishu Kamashami, Purveshu Kamashami. This is Saudhnya, and therefore the other alternative Vakya does not exist. Apara ishu kamashami, the same thing. In examples for Sankhya are Panchamraha. Actually, this compound means 5 mangoes, but it is a name of a particular kind of mango, Panchamraha. I really don't know whether such kind of or anything similar to that exists also today. It's quite possible that there was a tree or there is a tree which yields 5 mangoes on each stem together, and therefore it is called Panchamraha. A group of 5 mangoes held together in one stem. Such kind of thing we have to imagine, of course. Or if anyone knows of any regional counterpart of it, maybe he can tell us later on. Saptarshayaha. Everybody knows this particular constellation in the sky, a group of 7 sages. Saudnyayamiti kim Uttara Vrukshaha and Pancha Brahmanaha. Uttaraha Vrukshaha, trees towards north, and Pancha Brahmana, 5 Brahmins. They don't denote any proper name and therefore no compound. Then we have 51, Dik Sankhye, Tadhita Arthottara Pada Samahare Cho. Dik Sankhye iti anuvartate. Tadhita Arthe Vishaye Uttarapade cha Parataha Samahare cha Abhidheye Dik Sankhye Samanadhikaranena Supasaha Samasyete Tatpurushascha Samaso Bhavati. Dik and Sankhya, words denoting directions and numerals. They are compounded with a Samanadhikarana Subanta in 3 different conditions. Tadhitartha, Uttarapada and Samahara. So 3 conditions put together in a compound implies that they are they should be disjunctively applied. So there is a Dik Samasa or Sankhya Samasa with a Samartha Subanta either in Tadhitartha or in Uttarapada, that means when Uttarapada follows, or when it conveys Samahara. So these are the 3 conditions and 2 classes of padas, and thus we have, I think, a group of 6 types of samasas taught in this sutra. Tadhitarthe tavat. Earlier it is explained as Tadhitarthe Vishaye. So Tadhitarthe generally would mean when the meaning of the Tadhita is conveyed, or when a suffix conveying the meaning of a Tadhita follows, something like that. But that is not the meaning here, and this is what he makes clear by using the word Vishaye. So Vishaya means when the meaning of the Tadhita suffix is the subject or maybe the object, or it is a concern, or it is a topic under consideration, when it is thought of. So this is a very, very literal general meaning. So ultimately it means that when the whole compound is going to express a Tadhita meaning, Tadhitarthe Vishay, in the domain of Tadhita. So Dvigu is actually, this is the, later on we will see that this Sankhya Samasa particularly is Dvigu, otherwise it is Tatpurusha. Better I call it Tatpurusha. So this particular Tatpurusha with either Dik or Sankhya, one kind of it is within the domain of Tadhita. Ultimately, it leads to some Tadhita formation. And this is what is indicated by the word Vishaye, Tadhitarthe Vishaye. And then he gives an example, Tadhitarthe Tavat पूर्वस्यां शालायां भवः. So bhavah is a tadhitartha vishaya. Tatra bhavah is one of the tadhita meanings in which several rules teach different suffixes, and it belongs to this very first section of tadhita, that is pragdivyatiya, and the general suffix which is taught in this sense is an. So purvasyam shalayam bhavah is the underlying sentence, you can say deep structure. So we have purva, shala, or rather, if you want to give exact, what do you call it, aswapada vigraha, no, which is the other kind of vigraha, laukika vigraha and alaukika vigraha. So this alaukika vigraha would be purvangi, shalangi, and in the sense of bhava, the suffix is an. And then we have purva shala o, because purva will be shortened this a by gostriyohu upasarjanasya. And this a will further disappear by the rule dik purva padat asavnyayam yaha. Sorry, this is the suffix nyo. Sorry, it's not an, it is yo. And it will be further dropped. No, it's not dropped in this case. It is paurva shalaha. Tadhiteshu achamadehe vruddhi takes place. And then we have paurva shala. Purvasyam shalayam bhavaha. Purva shala nya. By the rule dik purva padat asaudnyayam yaha. This is a shaishika rule. And then we have this vruddhi by the rule tadhiteshu achamadehe adi vruddhi. And we have the compound paurva shalaha. Purvasyam shalayam bhava. So within this tadhita we have a tatpurusha purvashala. And the next example is uttarapade purvashala priyaha aparashala priyaha. Purvashala priyayasya will be the constituent analysis. So we have here a bahuvrihi. Purvashala priyayasya. So first bahuvrihi takes place, or it is conceived, and then within this bahuvrihi we have a tatpurusha. So Nyasa says, even Padamanjari, priya shabde uttarapade tripade bahuvriho purvayoho tatpurushe sati. And then what is the advantage of making this kind of a tatpurusha? Samasantodattatvam shala shabdasya bhavati. This kind of a samasa within a samasa is called avantara samasa. So here we have an example of a bahuvrihi with avantara tatpurusha. And this avantara tatpurusha explains the accent on the a of shala. Purva shala is a tatpurusha, and then samasasya antodattaha operates here, and we have udatta. If we don't have this avantara tatpurusha and we say let us have a tripada bahuvrihi, in that case there will be bahuvrihi accent, and then we will have adyudatta of purvapada. Bahuvriho prakrutya purvapada. So the accent will change. This is the advantage of forming a samasa within a samasa. Aparashala priyaha. Purvashala priyaha, aparashala priyaha. Then samahara. Samahare dik shabdaha na sambhavati. Samahara is collection, putting together. Later on, I think they have explained the word samahara as samariyate asau samahara. That is, no, not asau. It could be karmani, but they say it is bhave. That is samaharanam. Viprakirnanam ekatra rashikaranam samaharaha. Therefore, this ghai, according to commentators, ghai added to samaru is in the sense of bhav. So this kind of putting together of different objects, entities, things is not possible in case of diks or words referring to diks. And why is so? Why is it so? Nyasa says, samaharo hi samuhaha. Samahara is a collection, group putting together. Sahi bhinnarthanam eva ekakalanam sambhavati. It is possible only in case of different objects. Bhinna artha. And then buddhya yugapadarthanam parigrahat. This is possible only we bring them together in our mind, in our thought. And then it becomes ekakalatva. Sankhya cha bedam achaste natu dikshata. So this kind of bhed is possible only in case of a number, but or a numeral. It is not possible in case of a dikshabda. Why? Tasya pratiniyata vishayatvat. Every dik word has a fixed domain. Pratiniyata vishayatvat. Purva cannot be mixed with Paschim and so on. And therefore they cannot be brought together into one collection. And therefore he says it is not possible to talk of samahara in case of dikshabdas. Samahare dikshabdo na sambhavati. Sankhya tadditarthe pancha napitihi. So pancha napitaha and tesham apatyam. So panchanam napitanam apatyam, an offspring, a descendant of 5 barbers. I don't know the real meaning of this. And I also don't know whether we should really go into the details of this meaning. Anyway, so panchanam napitanam apatyam, at the ear, as you are already aware of it, then ativrittihi, and then we have this form pancha napitihi. Just a moment. Pancha kapalaha. Kapala is a potsherd. Panchasu kapaleshu samskrutaha pancha kapalaha. This generally, perhaps necessarily, refers to this sacrificial offering called purodasha. And this purodasha is made ready, it is cooked on 5 pieces of a pot, 5 potsherds, and therefore they say panchasu kapaleshu samskrutaha. The rule which teaches this taddita meaning is Sanskritam Bhakshaha 4 to 16. Sanskritaha means perfected, made ready, made more refined or something, as we perfect our food by either by boiling or heating. So this is how we have this word Panchakapalaha. In case of Panchakapala, of course, we have the dropping of the taddita suffix an. Dvigorlug anapatye. Anapatyarthe anipare. No, tadditasya dvigoho parasya tadditasya luk syat anapatyarthe anvishaye. So when an conveying any other taddita than apatya. Please drop.
May I, may I just ask a question? I mean, not about this rule, but regarding the previous rule. So I think there are some issues. Uh, so one thing which I would like to know from you is that is Tadhitartham, I mean, this particular condition. Why is it really necessary to have this condition? I mean, can't we simply first have a compound and then add the Tadhita suffix? I mean, is that not possible? So why actually that need is felt that we should have it phrased like this? So can you please throw more light on this, because I think that is not so clear to me.
I gave a hint, in the very beginning, I was explaining this rule to you because I was also facing the same question since I was teaching it, and the answer which I have found is that we since these are the three exclusive domains of Tatpurusha, Tadhitartha, Uttarapada, and Samahara, we cannot bring them together. So if you want, say for instance, which is this which is the example of Paurvashalaha. So how will you have a compound of Purvashala? Purvashala you will have only as a Karmadharaya. And then you will have to add this. And in that case, at some places the commentators explain that the accent changes, because if we make it a Tatpurusha, then it is Antodatta. And if we add the Tadhita suffix to that, then the accent as per the Tadhita suffix changes it. That is one explanation which I found in some commentaries. As far as the Sankhya Samasa is concerned, we cannot have a Samahar there. For instance, we cannot say Panchanam Napitanam Samaharaha and then say Panchanapitam and then Panchanapitasya Apatyam. This kind of Samasa is not possible because, again, in that case, Samahara is not the meaning which is intended in this compound. So in case of some, at least in case of Dvigus, we can very clearly say that if we make the Dvigu first, like Panchanam Napitanam Samahara or Panchanam Kapalanam Samahara, and then we add the Tadhita suffix, then the meaning Samahara is incorporated into that, which is not intended. They simply want to say Panchanam Napitanam Apatyam. We can have a Dvigu only in the sense of Samahara in this case. In case of say Panchanapitihi or Panchakapalaha. But the meaning Samahara obviously is not intended here. And therefore we cannot have a Dvigu first and then after that Dvigu we cannot add Tadhita. This appears to be, I mean, this is my actually conjecture. Otherwise, as you say, I also felt why not first Tatpurusha Dvigu and then add Tadhita suffix to that. But one answer in case of Tatpurusha is accent, and in case of Dvigu, that is Sankhya Samasa, the answer is Samahara is not a part of the meaning. This is only.
Yeah, I mean, in case of the example Paurushalaha, I mean, we add suffix, the suffix yain there, but I mean, there the rule itself basically presupposes. The rule itself presupposes a Purvapada, right? Dik Purvapada. I mean, because Dik Purvapadat yaha, so not yahin, but yaha simply. So that presupposes a kind of a compound, or basically we can say a compound like situation. So I mean, so what would be the process there? First we would have a compound, or first we would have a I mean, we have to first make a compound, right? Then only we can think of, then only the Purva, the Adi Vriddhi is possible, isn't it?
In almost all of these derivation of the things happen on the mental level. And that is why we accept this Vibhajya Anvakhana Paksha. And this is how I explain this Purva Shala as Purva Shala, Purvani Shalani and. And at this stage, the samasa is in the mind. It is thought of. It doesn't take place. But all the advantages of samasa are in the mind, again on thought level. And therefore, they say, Gostriyoho upasarjanasya, this works here, and Purva is upasarjana, and Purva is upasarjana, and therefore there is rasva, so it becomes Purva. Further, if we make it a compound Purva Shala, it will be Antodatta. And when we add Nya, because of Nya, Unitya Adir Nityam, it will have to be Adyudatta. So since we make it a Samasa, it becomes Antodatta. As in case of Bahuvrihi, Purva Shala Priyaha, they commentators clearly show accent on La of Shala. Purva Shala Priyaha. Otherwise, if it has to take a Bahuvri accent, it becomes Purva becomes Udatta. Bahuvri ho Prakritya Purva Pada. So this is actually, it's a very you can say on the level of imagination, this difference. What actually Panini might have thought, yeah, but you can find there are a few other advantages of particularly in case of Bhigu. And the advantages of Bhigu becoming a part of Taddhita are like, Panchakapalaha, and there are many other others like Dvau Vedo Adhite Dvivedaha, where we find that the wording of the Bhigu Samasa is retained, whereas the meaning is added. So there is no change in the form, but the meaning is added. If you make it Bhigu, it will be Panchanam Kapalanam Samahara, and that's all. And then it will be Panchakapalam, or I think Panchakapalam. But the same word Panchakapalam is used in masculine with an additional meaning. So maybe Panini might have thought of this advantage of adding the suffix in order to gain that additional meaning when he found one and the same word being used in these two different meanings. Well, this is our guess, but I don't know whether words like Panchanam, Kapalanam, Samahara, Panchakapalam really exist. But theoretically, as I explained to you, theoretically at least we can say that as far as the sutra is given to us, we can say that there are three different kinds of samasas, either Taddhitartha or Uttarapadapara or Samahara. So in a Taddhitartha samasa, we cannot have Samahara. In order to distinguish on this level, we cannot have a separate samasa. At least in case of Sankhya, we say, and of course, accent as I explained. I don't know whether it is very convincing, but this is the only reply, well, I can think of. I mean, if you can find any better reply. There are certainly advantages as far as Bhigu is concerned.
Yeah. Yes.
We have Samasanta also, that is another advantage. In case of Taddhita. Yeah, please.
Okay. Yeah, there's one more question which came to my mind. I mean, so now this is regarding the Uttarapada matter. So regarding the Uttarapada, again the same question would come. I mean that can't we again have first a compound of the two padas, like for example Purva Shala, maybe Purva Shala, and then Purva Shala, Purva Shala Priya Yasya, and make a Bahubri later on. So I mean the question, I mean, as you said, I mean they say that the solution, I mean the solution here is that accent, I mean, in order to retain the accent. Now, but is it not again applicable in the case of other compounds? Because I mean, in language we see that there are many like like what Tatpurusha Garbha Bahuvrihi, or even, I mean, Dvandva Garbha Bahuvrihi, and I mean these are, I mean, we have long compound, and then often many compounds are actually are included within a Bahuvrihi. So why we have rule only with regard to this kind of Tatpurusha and not for other compounds?
Again, our guesswork is that it's only for accent, and they want to retain the accent of Tatpurusha even after it enters into Bahuvrihi. Because they very much insist that the accent is on La or Shala. On this point, they are, I mean, they're quite confirmed. Which means that if you make Tatpurusha first and then you go to Bahuvrihi, then it appears that perhaps the accent will change. But if you make all the three padas together into Bahuvrihi, and then within Bahuvrihi, if you make a Tatpurusha compound, then the accent of the Tatpurusha remains. According to the commentators, well, even I am not much happy with this solution, because I feel that the accent of Bahuvrihi has to be more powerful in this case, because Bahuvrihi is the last compound. And if we have to follow the dictum, Satishishta Swara Baliyasva, so then I think we have to put accent according to Bahuvrihi. But accent, we have to accept what commentators say and what tradition says, and therefore I kept quiet. But even this is not a very satisfactory answer, I'm pretty sure about.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now, in case of Sankhya, there is no example for Uttarapada, right? I mean, for the Sankhya compounds, there is no Uttarapada condition, or did I miss that example? For Sankhya Samasas?
We have yet to read it. It's there. It is there in the text. Before I finish the commentary, you asked me a question, but I have yet to read that comment. So yes, there is, and that is Uttarapade Pancha Gava Dhanaha. So Samahari is yet to appear, na? So Pancha Gava Dhana, they are explaining it as Pancha Gavaha Dhanam Asyo. So it's a Bahuvrihi. So we have Panchan Go Dhana. And then even commentators say Prathamam Bahuvrihi Tadanantaram Dhana Shabde Uttarapade Purvapadayoho Tatpurushaha Tasmin Sati Goho Ataddita Luki Iti Sutrena Samasantaha. Goho Ataddita Luki teaches that Gonta Tatpurushat Tatsya. Na Taddita Luki. So they always have taken it for granted that this kind of a samasa takes place. Even Taddite Parataha. Taddita Luki Samasantaha na bhavati, which means that Taddite Parataha api Samasaha bhavati Tatpurushaha. So we have Pancha Go and then this touch O Dhana, and then simply by Sandhi rule it becomes Pancha Gavadhana. So yes, we have Vigu Uttarapade also. Pancha Gavadhanaha, Dasha Gavadhanaha. But here also in this case, there isn't any satisfactory reply why he doesn't make Digu first and then Bhauri. The same reply, in terms of accent. But if maybe your Panjika gives any better answer, we'll have to find out. Of course, I must admit that I haven't consulted later commentaries. We'll have to find out if, later commentaries like, Shabdendu Shekhara or even Shabdaratna, they have to say anything about it. But so far, the Shastra says, which I read in this, I didn't find any good answer.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. And then there is example of Samahara, of course, only Sankhya Samasa, no Dik Samasa, Panchapuli, Dashapuli. So Panchalam, Pulanam, Samaharaha. Pula is a kind of a cake, they say, Pula. Or Pula also, in dictionary, the meaning of Pula is bundle. So Pancha Pula, then there is this Stri Pratyaya Neep by the rule Dvigoho. And thus we have Panchapuli. And there is also Vartika which says Akarantottara Pado Dviguhu Striyam Ishyate. And therefore, by the rule Dvigoho, we have to add the feminine suffix Neep. And thus we have Panchapuli, Dashapuli. But in case of Panchakumari and Dashakumari, which is another next pair of examples, we don't have this Neep because the word Kumari doesn't end in Akaranta Uttarapadan Nasti. So here also Panchanam Kumarinam Samaharaha Panchakumari. So the meaning Samahara is very clear in this example, whereas in this Tadhitartha Dvigu, this meaning Samahara is not intended. That seems to be the only difference, according to me, of course. So in case of Panchakumari, we have Ekavachana, Panchakumari, and that is by the rule Dviguhu Ekavachanam. Panchanam Kumarinam Samaharaha Panchakumari, and then Dviguhu Ekavachanam, therefore we don't add, so Aujas we don't add. Then further, Dviguhu is always used in Napunsaka, therefore by the rule Sa Napunsakam. And since it is Napunsaka and since it has to be used in Ekavachana, then there is a rule Rasvo Napunsake Pratipadikasya. So Kumari E becomes E Rasva, and we have the form Panchakumari and Dashakumari. Oh, they have given it here. Sa Napunsakam iti Napunsakatvam Rasvo Napunsake Pratipadikasya iti Rasvatvam, says Kashika. Now we move to the next, Sankhya Purvo Dviguhu. And here he says, Tadhitarthottara pada samahare cha ityatra yaha Sankhya Purva samasaha saha Dvigu saudnyaha bhavati. So only Sankhya samasa, which is so far which has been taught in the earlier rule, Tadhitarthottara pada samahare cha, only Sankhya Purva samasa is called Dvigu. Sankhya Purvo Dviguhu. So the necessary condition of Dvigu is that a numeral always is a Purvapada. Tadhitarthe tavat panchasu kapaleshu samskrutaha panchakapala. So the same example he has given here for Dvigu. Panchasu kapaleshu samskrutaha, we have already seen. Panchakapala, Dashakapala. Samskritam bhakshaha iti iha an tasya dvigorlu ganapatye iti luk. Uttarapade Panchanava Priyaha Navo Dvigoho iti Samasantah bhavati. This could be the advantage, Mahesh. Panchanava Priyaha. If we make it a Tripada Bahuvrihi together, or I don't know, if we make it a Dvigu first, Panchanam Navam Samaharaha, it would be some, it won't have this Samasantu there, perhaps. Navodvigu, touch, and perhaps it will have some other form like Pancha Nu or something, because it has to be Rasu. It has to be used in Napumsaka. It's quite likely that some difference also in the form. So Pancha Now and then Samasanta touch by the rule Navodvigoho, and then we have Pancha Now. Oh, sorry, Now. Then touch is A, and this Now becomes Now by Echo Yavayavaha, and then we have Pancha Nava Priya. Samahare Pancha Muli. Why Muli here and Uli was there? I don't understand. And Muli, Mula means root. Panchana Mula Nam Samahara Panchamuli. Dvigoho iti Gip Bhavati. Dvigu Pradeshaha Dvigoho Ittevam Adaya. So specific grammatical operations applicable to Dvigu, like the rule Dvigoho, they apply in all these cases. So that is the domain of Sankhya Purva Dvigu. This is what he says when he says Dvigu Pradeshaha. Or the word Dvigu is used in all such rules like Dvigu. The next tool is, so Dvigu context is over. Kutsitani kutsanaihi. Kutsita vachini subantani. Kutsana vachanaihi subantaihi saha samasyante tatpurushascha samaso bhavati. So kutsita is contempted or despised, and kutsana is an expression of contempt. So a word which conveys contempt, and kutsita is an object which is contempted. So a word which conveys an object which is contempted is compounded with a word which expresses contempt. Shabda pravrutti nimitta kutsayam ayam samasah ishyate. So this compound is intended when contempt of the meaning of the word is intended, and what he means by this will be clear only when we take up an example. Visheshanam visheshyena iti paranipate prapte visheshyasya purvanipatartha arambha. So this rule is meant only for purvanipata of visheshya, because kutsita is visheshya and kutsana obviously is its visheshana, and therefore although the rule visheshana visheshyena could take care of such samasas, in case of kutsita samasas we find the order reversed, and therefore this rule. Paranipate prapte visheshyasya purvanipatartha arambha. And the example is Vyakarana khasuchihi. The word khasuchihi explained in a commentary is like this. Prushtaha san Vyakaranaha yada prushtaha. When somebody asks a question to a Vyakarana, atra idagamaha kratham bhavati, etc. Prashnam vismarayitum kham suchayati. Because the Vyakarana does not know the answer, and therefore he wants the person who is asking a question to forget that. Prashnam vismarayitum kham suchayati kham nirikshati. So he straight away looks at the sky, and what he says, aho nirmalam gaganam. So he wants the person to forget the question, and he wants to divert his attention. in other words. Therefore, he says, it is said, Khasuchi. His eyes are pointed towards sky as a needle. Khasuchi. And here, this pravrutti nimitta kutsa is made further clear by these commentators. Say, Nyasa, atra hi vayakaranatvam, vayakaran shabdasya pravrutti nimittam. What is the pravrutti nimitta of the word vayyakarana? Vayakaranatvam, being a grammarian. Vyakaranam adhite, vyakaranam ved va vayyakaranaha. So, being a student of Vyakarana or being a teacher of, being a knower of Vyakarana, you can say. He is the pravrutti nimitta, and he says tat kutsyate. So his knowledge of grammar is actually the subject of contempt, not the person. This is very interesting and very significant. Vayakaranatvam kutsyate tasya, natu vayyakaranaha. As a person, there is no contempt. So sometimes even we talk about a person that, well, he doesn't know much, but he is a good human being. So as a person, he is okay. But as far as his knowledge is concerned, we are not really happy with that. So it is similar here. And he says that contempt is about his being a Vayyakarana. Contempt is about his study of grammar or his knowledge of grammar. This is pravrutti nimitta, and that is being defiled or despised. The next example is, here is, he explains it Vayyakarana Kasuchi. He explains it as Nishpratibha ityartha. Nishpratibha, having no knowledge, no flash. He cannot immediately give any reply. Then Yadnika Kitavaha. Yadnika is a priest, Kitava is a cheat. So a cheat who is a priest who is a cheat. And then the commentary explains, Yathahi kitavaha kintava asti iti dhanamatram apekshamanaha dyute pravartate tatha yadnikopi trushnaya ayajyasya dhanavatta matram apekshate. So it's a Yaskan type of etymology of kitava. Kitava, he derives from kimtava, from this explanation, kimtava. So Kitava is always after wealth, and he is asking everybody, Kintava asti, how much wealth do you have? How much money do you have? So Dhanam apekshamanaha Kitavaha dyute yatha pravartate. The word Kitava originally is used in the context of dyuta, but then it is further extended to refer to any kind of a cheat in general. So here we have Yadnika, who is very much crazy after, again, wealth, and therefore he performs rituals even for those people who do not deserve it. Ayajasya dhanavatta matram apekshate. Similarly, so these are all examples of contempts of professions, contempts of knowledge. Yajnika Kitavaha is further explained as Ayajya Yajana Trushna Paraha. Having Trushna, thirst, greed for Ayajya Yajana, for performing a sacrifice for a person who doesn't deserve, who is not fit for performing a sacrifice, only considering the dakshina which he is going to get. Mimamsaka durdurudha nastikaha. So Mimamsaka is either a scholar of Mimamsa or maybe a student of Mimamsa, an expert in Mimamsa, but he is a Durdurudha. Durdurudha or Durdurut also is yet another word, expression. And the dictionary gives the meaning of Durdurudha and Durdurudha as a non-believer, one who doesn't believe in God, who doesn't believe in Vedas, actually in the context of Hindu. In the Hindu context, it is non-believer of Vedas. So Mimamsa, is basically, it is a system which is based on the study of sacred text. It is meant for pious ritualists, and it is basically, it's an explanation of all ritual performances by interpreting Vedic sentences. So you cannot have any non-believer calling himself a Mimamsaka. So in order to become a Mimamsaka, one has to be a believer. So here he says Mimamsaka Dhruturudha, which means that he is not a real Mimamsaka, he is Nastika. Nastika, Astika are the terms even explained by Panini. Asti Nasti Dishtam Matihi is a Tadhita rule. So Asti and Nasti, Kim Asti and Kim Nasti, Vedanam Apaurushayatvam, Asti or Nasti. This is how tradition explains it. This is how the word Astika and Nastika, they are derived in grammar. Kutsitani iti kim? Vayyakaranaha chauraha. So nahi atra vayyakaranattvam kutsyate. So it is Vayyakarana, the person who is Chaura. It is not the student of Vyakarana who is Chaura. It is not the teacher of Vyakarana. It is a person who is a Chaura. And therefore it is not, there is no samasa. Kutsanaihi iti kim? Kutsito brahmanaha. In case of Kutsito brahmanaha, we have, the Brahmin is Kutsita. We have a despised Brahmin. Bhavati atra Kutsita shabdaha. Kutsita abhidhayi. So Kutsita, the word is, of course, it conveys the meaning Kutsita. But Brahmana is not a word which conveys Kutsa. It is not a Kutsana Vachana or Kutsa Vachana. Like, Khasuchi, Durduruta or Durduruda. These words are Kutsana words. So Brahmana is not a Kutsa Vachaka. And therefore there is no compound. Kutsito Brahmana. The next tool is Papanake Kutsitai. Any question, any remarks from anyone? Somebody?
Just one question about this rule. I mean, the example now, the Padakrutya basically. This Vayyakarana Chauraha. So, I mean, what he really means by this, because I mean, when you say the person is condemned, but not his grammarianhood, or I mean, what should we say?
Exactly.
That he is not a bad grammarian. I mean, that's what he.
Yeah, the meaning is made clear by in Kashika. Nahi atra Vayyakaranattvam Kutsyate.
Yeah, so I mean, he's a good grammarian, but he is a thief.
I mean, forget about his profession. he teaches very well. He is a very good scholar in Vyakarana, but he is a thief. Vayyakarana.
Okay.
Nahi atra Vayyakaranattvam Kutsyate. Chaura is a Kutsa Vachana.
But I mean, his main example, I mean, which he gives there, I mean, for example, I mean, when you say what? Yeah. So here we can say he's a bad grammarian, right?
Yes.
He's a bad as a grammarian.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Remember, similar thing is also found in one of the Tadhita rules. You may check it later on. Yapye Pashap, Nindayam. And there is a suffix Pasha in Tadhita. It's my vague memory. I don't have the text right now with me, and I don't want to spend much time on that, but you please check it later on. And then Vyakarana Pashaha, they say. So there also it is not the person, but it is his profession which is intended there. So again, pravritti nimitta ninda is a different thing, he says. So atra shabda pravritti nimittasya kutsa.
Yeah.
So they very clearly distinguish between a human being and his profession or his other aspect of personality.
Yeah.
Which is reflected in the word.
Yes.
And therefore, I gave you an example, if you remember. Even in our own language, we say that वैसे तो आदमी तो भला है, कुछ भी जानता नहीं है. But as a person, he's a good human being.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So, papanake kutsitaihi. So, this kutsa is still following us. Papa anaka shabdau kutsana abhidhayinau. तयोः पूर्वेण समासे परनिपातः प्राप्ता पूर्वनिपातार्थं विदम् आरभते. It's very, very simple, very clear. Doesn't need any further explanation. Papa anaka, these are the kutsit, these are the subantas, and they are compounded with kutsita vachanas. Ete subante kutsita vachane sah samasyante. Tatpurushasya samaso bhavati. So who is to be contemplated? Napita. And the word which expresses kutsa is papa. Papa napitaha, papa kulalaha, anaka napitaha, anaka kulala. Papa and anaka, they mean wicked, vicious. So, like Vyakarana Khasuchi, we could have napita papaha or kulala papaha, napita anakaha. So, this compound is meant only to reverse the order. That's all. Otherwise, the context is the same. Here also we have Kutsita and Kutsana. And Mahesh, perhaps this also is a contempt of their profession. So he is not a good barber. He is not a good kulala, kumbhakara, pot maker. Maybe as a person he is good. That is implied.
Yes. 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 Yeah.
Excuse me, may I ask something stupid perhaps? Is it then possible to have the compound Chaura Vyakarana in the context of this very sutra? The Chaura Vyakarana will be the stealing grammarian, so that one who is taking something from another fellow grammarian. So he may be a very good one, but he's a Chaura than Vyakarana.
I think there is, it should be there. I mean, this context doesn't deny it. Chaurascha so Vayakaranascha Chaura Vayakarana. Do you have any Vayakarana in your mind?
Yes. No. I was just wondering, because of these possibilities of having a bad grammarian, then having a grammarian who may be a very good one, but he's a robber, and then we can also have this third possibility of a good grammarian who is actually taking some material from another predecessor of his, for example. A plagiar.
Vyakarana would mean by profession he is Vyakarana is okay, doesn't matter, but as a person he is a thief. So Chaura Vyakarana, I think we can have as a Karmadhare Samas. Perhaps what he wants to suggest is that we cannot have Vyakarana Chauraha. By this rule, Kutsitani Kutsanai. What do you think?
Yeah, that's also my impression. That's my impression, and that's why I thought now in the context of 2154, Papa Anake Kutsite, then this will allow us to have also this expression about a grammarian who is stealing from somebody else, something. I mean, in terms of knowledge. Kutsita. Yeah. Thank you.
Vaiyakarana, while writing a dissertation, committing a lot of plagiarism.
Exactly. That's what I had in mind. Exactly.
Such an illustration comes to our mind, isn't it? Okay. Upamanani samanya vachanaihi. Upamiyate anena iti upamanam. Upamanavachini subantani samanya vachanaihi subantaihi samasyante. So upamana means yena upamiyate, that by means of which something is compared. So upamana cannot stand alone. Upamana and upameya, they always are complementary to each other. So upamana is that which is a means of comparison of an upameya. And upameya is that which is to be compared, which is an object of comparison. So object of comparison and a means or a standard of comparison. And there is a third factor, that is samanya vachana. So we have upamana, upameya and samanya vachana. Samanya vachana, as the term itself suggests, it's a word expressing a common property between upamana and upameya. So upamanani samanya vachanaihi. So in this particular compound, upameya is not present. It's only upamana and samanya vachana. Samasyante. Upamiyate anena iti upamanam. Upamanavachini subantani samanya vachanai subhasyante. Subante samasyante. Tatpurushascha samaso bhavati. उपमानोपमेयोः साधारणो धर्मः सामान्यं तद विशिष्ट उपमेय वचनैः अयं समासः. तद विशिष्ट उपमेय वचनैः. So upameya is present here also, but not as an upameya, but as samanya dharma vishishta. So through the samanya dharma, upameya is present in this compound. Tad vishishta upameya vachanai. So it means that the samanya dharma should be such that it explains both samanyam uktva dravyam aho. As earlier we saw in case of gunavachana, gunam uktva yaha dravyam aho. Similarly, samanyam uktva yaha samanyavantam aho, you can say. Tadrushena shabdena upamanam samasyate. Tad vishishta upameya vachanaihi. Now let's take an example and that will make it more clear. Shastri iva shyama, Shastri shyama. Shastri is a knife, a weapon. Here it is a knife, or I don't know, maybe it is a sword, because Shyamatva rests in sword. So there is a woman who is described as Shastri Shyama. Shyama is dark. So she is as dark as a knife. Now we have to imagine that this knife must be made of some dark iron, which looks metal, maybe, which looks quite dark and blackish. So she is like Shastri Shyama. The word Shyama is samanya muktva dravyamaha. That means it is samanya vishishta upameya vachan. Shyamatva vishishta. Shyama can be interpreted as Shyamatva vishishta. And this is how it is upameya. Shastri iva Shyama. Shastri Shyama Devadatta. So Devadatta is always described as black in color. He is not fair. Kumuda Shyeni. Shyeni, Shweta, they all refer to white color. So Shyeni means Shyena Gunavat Gunayukta. Kumuda is a white lily, white lotus. So as white as Kumuda, white lotus. In all these compounds, we have to use the word Ivo in the Vigraha constituent analysis. Shastri Iva Shama, Kumudam Iva Shyeni. So this Iva doesn't appear in the body of the compound, but it is there in the constituent analysis, and therefore we have to say that it is a kind of Aswapada Vigraha. But then it has to be Nitya Samasa, but it is not like that. So this is only you can say Spashtartha in order to make the meaning more clear. But Iva has to be there in order to understand the meaning in a clear manner. Then Haunsa Gadgada. I don't understand what exactly is meant by this when somebody uses this word, because Gadgada means a stammering or a faltering sound. So when somebody doesn't speak in a clear sound and we say that he stammers, it's not a good sign. It's not actually a good quality. It is always regarded as a fault in that person. But here it is a description of a beautiful woman who makes some indistinct sound like that of a swan, Haunsa Gadgara. So how she could be making this kind of sound unless some demonstration is there, it is very difficult to understand. But we don't have any demonstration, unfortunately, of this Haunsa Gadgara. So we don't have, so far I haven't come across any lady, any beautiful woman making a sound like a hounsa. So I cannot say anything about it. Haunsa Gadgada. Nagrodha Parimandala. Parimandala is a circle round. And Nagrodha, it's a fig tree which grows on all sides. It again sends its stems into the ground and another shoots come up. So it becomes more and more round and round in shape. So this is an upamana, and parimandalatva. Parimandalatva is a samanya dharma. So again, this is a feminine word because it is Sri Pratyayanta. So must be referring to a woman, a Sri who is all round like a Nagrodha. So maybe she is a very fat woman. We say Ati Vishala Mahila in Marathi. We call her. Perhaps it looks like a description of such a fat woman, Nagrodha Parimandala. This reminds me of Vasanta Sena's mother in Vrachakatika. And well, again, I am calling from my memory. It is described that when they wanted to build a house, they made her first to sit, and around her they built up the house. She was so fat. So she was actually there measuring a stick, or stick is very improper word in her context. But this is how her all-round person is described. So she perhaps can be better described as Nagrodha Parimandala. Upamanani kim? Upamanani iti kim? Devadatta Shyama. So here Devadatta is an upameya and Shyama is Samanya Vachana, but Shastri is missing. So upameya is missing. You cannot say Devadatta Shastri Iva Shama. If you say then Shastri Shama would be the compound. So instead of Upamana, you have Upameya here. And therefore we don't have a compound here.
Why all these examples are feminine? I mean, is it a condition for this rule? It is not. I mean, at least in the rule it is not. I don't know why all the examples are feminine.
Not at all. It's their poverty of examples. Somebody has given these examples at some point of time, and maybe in some Pathashala, and they are just being imitated or they are being copied. That's all. They maybe they didn't find any examples in the literature. They didn't bother to find it.
I mean, yes, I remember. I mean, from the Pali grammar, I think the same Negrodha Parimandala example. I mean, it also occurs there, but not feminine, but masculine. I mean, he's a Rajakumar who is Negrodha Parimandala. And actually, in fact, there is one of Ashoka's own brother, I mean, Emperor Ashoka's brother. He is called Negrodha, and yeah. So I remember in that context probably it is there.
But what does it mean? Negrodha Parimandala meaning there? Does it mean fat?
Yes. So it means fat. So he's fat, round, as you said, like the Negro, like entry.
Sir, this Kaumudi gives all masculine examples, madam. Purusha Vyagra and Ganashyama and all.
Very good.
Kaumudi
Yes,
gives
yes.
Ganashyama, Purusha Vyagra. So it is partly answering Professor's answer question that here in Kashika and between Kashika and Kaumudi, we always find this mistake that Kaumudi uses little better examples in the grammar that it uses.
No. Purusha Vyaghara is an example of the next rule. Upamitam Vyaghradhibihi.
Ganashyama, madam, Ganashyama is used also.
Ganashyama is okay.
Ganashyama is used. Then in the next rule it says Purusha Vyagra.
Ganaiva Shama is a very nice example, which is a very common word, very easy to understand, and that dispels the myth which was harassing Mahesh that only feminine words are the illustrations of this samasa. Good. Yeah, of course. But quite often Siddhanta Kaumudi is very cryptic. Sometimes it doesn't explain much. It is just gives one example and then stops there. As compared to Kashika, it's not a proper commentary. This is my impression. But sometimes it is helpful like this, Ganashyama. Okay, good. Thank you. Samanya vachanaihi iti kim phala iva tandulaha. So here we have both upamana and upameya. But samanya vachana is missing. Phala is a plowshare. It also means a kind of a spade. So it's an upamana for rice grains. So when the rice grains are long like a plowshare or long like a spade of a grass, then phala, they say phala iva tandulaha. Phala dirghaha would be the example of this sutra. Phala dirghaha tandulaha, perhaps. So maybe something like basmati rice. Then another example is parvata iva balahakaha. Clouds are like mountains. Parvata iva balahakaha. So parvata, how can you describe it? Which could be the samanya dharma? They are as big as mountains. Parvata vishalaha meghaha. Balahakaha, you can say. But in both those cases, since the samanya vachana is missing, we can't have a component. Now the next tool is upamitam vyaghradhihi samanya prayoge. Upamita is a word used here in the sense of upameya. So he says upameyam, upamitam. Both mean the same. Tadvachi subantam vyaghradhihi samarthyad upamana vachanaihi sah samasyate. So when an upamita is to be compounded with words like vyagra, obviously that should be upamana vachan. So here we have a compound of upameya with an उपमान उपमितं व्याघ्रादिभिः तत्पुरुषस्य समासो भवति न चेत् सामान्यवाची सामान्य प्रयोगे so सामान्य वचन should not be used there only upamana and upameya in earlier case it was upameya it was upamana and samanya vachan and here it is upameya and upamana upameya purva pada and upamana uttara pada विशेषणं विशेष्येण इति परनिपाते प्राप्ते विशेष्यस्य पूर्वनिपातार्थः आरम्भः so again the same purpose as in case of previous rule it's only for purvanipata purushoyam vyaghraha iva purusho vyaghraha vyaghra iva shurah purushah this is what he means so upamana and upameya come together purusha vyaghraha purusha simhah पुरुषोयम सिंहः इव सामान्य प्रयोगे इति किम सामान्य अप्रयोगे इति किम पुरुषोयम व्याघ्रः इव शूरः in that case you cannot have a compound but even otherwise you cannot because there are three words how can you make a compound like purusha vyaghra shurah but you can certainly have a compound purusha vyaghraha shurah although it's a repetition and then the meaning of the compound is totally lost when you use the word shuraha because that is what is to be understood from the compound. Anyway, so this gana, Vyagradi gana is explained here. Vyagra Simha is all clear. Then Ruksha, Ruksha is a bear, Rushabha is a bull, Chandana sandal, Ruksha tree, Vrusha again bull, Varaha is a boar, Hasti elephant, Kunjara elephant, Ruru is a spotted deer, Prushat also the same, Pundarika, lotus, Balahaka cloud, Akriti Ganascha ayam, Tena idamapi bhavati, Mukha Kamalam, Karakisalayam, Parthiva Chandra. So Mukha Kamalam, such a common word, is, here it goes under Akriti Gana and not directly under Vyagradi. Strange. Then shall we go to the next or any comment? How much time is left? Can anyone tell me?
minutes, ma'am.
Good. So we can have a couple of sutras more at least. Yeah. Upamitam Visheshanam Visheshyana Bahulam. Bhedakam Visheshanam Bhedyam Visheshyam. This is a very, very general and significant definition of Visheshana. Visheshana is always that is Bhedaka. Bhedaka means distinguisher, which discriminates, which separates, and Bhedya is Visheshya, that which is being separated, which is being discriminated or distinguished. So Visheshana Vachi Subantam, Visheshya Vachina Samanadhikaranena Subantena Saho Bahulam Samasyate. Again, Bahula Grahana is here. Tatpurushasya Samaso Bhavati. So it's a very, very common thing. Common samasas also known to everybody. Nilotpalam, Raktotpalam, Neelam, Utpalam. So Neelam is Visheshana, Utpala is Visheshya. Visheshanam, Visheshyena Bahulam, he says. So Visheshana always has a Purva Nipata. Raktotpalam, Bahula Vachanam Vyavasthartham. Vyavastha is has several meanings actually, but here it means it's fixed order, or I always translate it as a well distributed option, because Bahula is an option, but in case of this option there is a Vyavastha, there is a very well distribution of that option. And how is that? Kvachit Nitya Samasaha Evo. That means this sutram kvachit bhavatyeva, kvachit na bhavatyeva. Sutra, sometimes it applies only, there is no option. And in some cases it doesn't apply only. So kvachit nitya samasaha eva Krishna sarpaha lohitashali. Kvachin na bhavatyeva. So other option is there is no samasa. When samasa is there, it is always nitya samasa. Kvachin nitya samasa eva. And of course, the third vikalpa is Neelam Utpalam Neelotpalam. So there is Anitya Samasa. Nitya Samasa, Anitya Samasa, and no Samasa at all. Three options. But these three options are very well distributed over the usage. In case of Krishna Sarpa, we have no option of Vakya. The meaning of Krishna Sarpa is not understood from the constituent analysis Krishna Sarpa, because Krishna Sarpa denotes a particular species, particular type of snakes. Similarly, Lohita Shali, it's a red shali rice, red grain rice. So if this particular meaning we cannot have from the sentence Lohitaha Shalihi. Vachin na bhavatyeva. In case of Ramo Jamadagnya, although we have both Visheshana and Visheshya, we have no samasa at all. Arjunaha Kartaviryaha. Actually, it should be Jamadagnya Ramaha, Kartaviryaha Arjunaha. Arjuna and Rama is Vishesh. Kvachid Vikalpaha Neelam Utpalam Neelotpalam. In case of words like Neelotpalam, we have both the options. This is intended by the word bahula, and this is vyavastha. Kvachit bhavatyeva, kvachit na bhavatyeva, kvachit vikalpa. Visheshanamiti kim? Takshakaha sarpaha. Here they say the word takshaka is the name of that snake. And when they say Visheshanam Bhedakam and Visheshya Sarpaha, it means that, and as it is made clear in the Nyasa, yes, that both the Visheshana and Visheshya, they are distinguishers of each other. He says, Pratyekam Visheshana Visheshya Bhute Bhavataha. Yatra Purvottara Pade Pratyekam Visheshana Visheshya Bhute Bhavataha Tatraiva Samasaha Bhavati. And then he further explains what he means by taking this example Neelotpalam. And he says, Neelarthaha Brahmaradibhyaha Vyavartya Utpalarthena Utpale Vyavasthapyate. So when Neela qualifies Utpala, all the other objects which are Neela in color, like Brahmara, B, so they are Vyavrta, they are excluded, they are eliminated. So this word Neela rests only in Utpala. So it is a distinguisher. Actually, Utpala is a distinguisher of Neela, and Neela is a distinguisher of Utpala. How? Utpalarthopi raktotpaladibhyaha vyavartyo Neelarthena Neele vyavasthapyate. We have several kinds of Utpalas, Neelotpala, Raktotpala, Shvetotpala. And similarly, we have several entities having Neela as a color. So both the words, the Visheshya and the Visheshana, they act as distinguishers. Visheshyam, Visheshanasya or Visheshanarthasya Bhedakam, Visheshanam cha Visheshyarthasya Bhedakam. Then only this samasa takes place. So this all Shastrartha appears in the commentaries. Unless this kind of a relation is there, we can have no samasa of Visheshana with a Vishesha. So both must distinguish each other and both must qualify each other. Ubhayamapi visheshanam, ubhayamapi visheshyam, he says. And therefore, in case of Takshakaha Sarpaha, Nyasa says, Atra Sarpa Visheshaha, or Takshaka Vyavruta. It's okay. Sarpas are of many kinds, but Takshaka is only Sarpa. So, in case of Sarpa, we can find a kind of a Bheda. But Sarpa cannot make any Bheda in case of Takshaka because there is only one Takshaka and that is snake. And therefore, we can have no samasa here between Takshaka and Sarpa. As Takshaka distinguishes Sarpa from other kinds of snake, Sarpa does not distinguish Takshaka from other creatures because Takshaka is only Sarpadis. So Takshakaha Sarpatvam na vyabhicharati. Unless and until you have the name Takshaku signifying something else, maybe a human being or something. But as far as mythology goes, Takshaka stands as the name of a Sarpa. Therefore, no compounding between Takshaka Sarpa since there is no Bhedya Bhedaka relation between the two, mutual Bhedya Bhedaka. Then Visheshyana iti kim Lohitaha Takshaka. Here also Nyasa says Bhavati Lohitaha Visheshan. Lohita can be Visheshana, but Takshaka cannot be Visheshya. Natu Takshaka Visheshya. Lohita cannot qualify Takshaka as a Visheshana because Tasya Lohitatva Avyabhichara. Takshaka is described in these Puranas, etc., as a snake having a red color only. So you cannot have a samasa between Lohit and Takshaka because there is no, again, this specific kind of Vedaka Bhava between the two. Takshaka is always Lohita, and therefore there can be no further distinguishing of Takshaka by Lohit. Well, after giving all such examples and discussing them, the commentaries further only say Vishvashtartham Ubayor Grahanam iti apare. So you can have the construction Lohita Takshakaha. It is like, in Marathi we say, I don't know how to explain it to others. Pivla Pitambar is Pitaha Pitambaraha. If I say like this in Sanskrit, you will understand. Pitaha Pitambaraha. So Pitambara is Pita in color. So there is no point in again using this Visheshana Pita and then further making the compound. So it is similar, Lohitaha Lakshaka, similar to this. The next sutra is Purvapara Prathama Charama Jaganya Samana.
Can I ask one question before we go to the next one?
Sure.
Yeah, it just occurred in my mind when we say Bahulam, as you said, restricted Vyavastha. Yes. So I found somehow it comes to my mind that Samjnayam is very close to it, like Krishna Sarpaha. Krishna Sarpa is a Samjna. I remember just one word, Rakta Chandana. I don't know whether it's a Sanskrit word, but Rakta Chandana is a typical type of gutti which we apply on wound. So Rakta Chandana, can we call it as in the same type of samas? And can it be Samjnayam in that case then?
Well, it all depends upon how we use it. If we use it as a Saujnya, then it is certainly a Nitya Samasa. And we do use it as a Sama. We do it as a use it as a Saujnya because Rakta Chandana is certainly different from other Chandana.
Yes.
As Krishna Sarpa is certainly different from any other kind of a snake.
So Bahulam is to be understood in the usage perspective, how it is used.
Oh, yeah. No, but actually the implication of Bahula, according to the commentators, is that there are 3 groups of words. And within those groups, we have no other options. Because for samasa, option is vakya. In case of some samasas, both the options exist. Like Neelam Kamalam and Neela Kamalam, they both exist side by side. This is one group. In another group like Krishna Sarpa, we have only samasa. No vakya at all. Just Krishna Sarpa. We cannot say Krishna Sarpa. Similarly, we cannot say Ratnam Chandana. That particular meaning will not be conveyed by the vakya. And this is true of all Saujnyas, isn't it? And the third category is like Ramo Jamadagnya, in which case compound doesn't exist. So in one group, only compound exists. In another group, compound and vakya exist. And in third group, both the options. In third group, what I said, Kvachit Nitya Samasa, Kvachit Vikalpa. In third group, there is no compound. These are
Yes. No, sir.
3
Clear.
options. They are well distributed, I say. Well distributed
Yes.
means that only one option in that group. Other option is not there. And in case of third group, both the options side by side. Kvachit pravrutti, kvachit apravrutti, which means kvachit pravrutti eva, kvachit apravrutti eva, and kvachit vibhasha. This is the meaning of Bahula. So when there is a pravrutti, there is no apravrutti. That is one group. When there is apravrutti, Ramo Jamadagnya, there is no pravrutti at all. We don't have Ramo Jamadagnya samas. And kvachit vibhasha, Neelam Utpalam Neelam. This is what they want to emphasize as the implication of Bahula. This is what is understood by the word Vyavastha. This is Vyavastha, well distributed, demarcated option.
Can I ask some more question? Is this Bahulam applicable only in Samasa section? I don't remember because Bahulam, Chandasi and all are applicable many times in the Ashtadhyayi.
No,
And it's
many
not
other
only
places.
Samas. It's not only Samas when we say Bahulam Chandasi.
Bahulam also is found in Krut section. Bahulam is also found in the Dita section. So everywhere
And
it is.
each time the meaning is same, well restricted Vyavastha.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
you can find it in the comment.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Bahulam Ishtavachya. This is I remember some. Anyway, I cannot just give you illustrations from these other sections, but I'm pretty sure they Bahula appears in different sections, not just in compound.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
पूर्व अपर प्रथम चरम जघन्य समान मध्य मध्यम वीर इत्येते सुबन्ताः समानाधिकरणेन सुपासः समस्यन्ते तत्पुरुषश्च समासो भवति. Very simple. पूर्व अपर, I think the meanings also are not very difficult to understand. Purva earlier, apara means other, purva apara, prathama first, charama last, jaganya actually means mean, but also last, hindmost, that which comes at the at behind, or lowest, samana same, equal, madhyama, madhya and madhyama both same, and vira. So the examples are Purva Purusha, Apara Purusha, Prathama Purusha, Charama Purusha, Jaganya Purusha. Now look at this poverty. They don't have good examples even from literature. Yeah, does it mean that these Vaiyakarnas did not bother to read Sanskrit literature? or they really did not exist in the literature during the period when these commentaries were written? I don't understand. It's only sometimes later in Siddhanta Kaumudi we find some citations from Kashik, from Kalidasa and from Magh, etc. But otherwise, I don't know why it is like this. So, Purvasya Aiva Ayam Prapancha, therefore nothing really very significant to note about this rule. Let me just close the windows because there is a storm and there is very heavy rain. Okay. श्रेण्यादयः कृतादिभिः श्रेण्यादयः सुबन्ताः कृतादिभिः समानाधिकरणैः सह समस्यन्ते तत्पुरुषश्च समासो भवति. So श्रेण्यादि is a
Just a minute. Just one question. I mean, earlier in the previous rule, of course, Panini uses Visheshana Visheshya Bahulam. So he uses the term Visheshana Visheshya. And somehow in this rule, he uses, I mean, the next rule, Purva, etc. He uses the word Samanadhikarana. So, I mean, what kind of distinction there might be in his mind? I mean, of course, the tradition says it is Prapancha, but do you think, I mean, as a just if you look at Panini and I mean, is there any justification? I mean, or why he uses the term Samanadhikarana here and not something else like Visheshya Visheshana? So, what do you think?
where does he use the Samanadhikarana? I would not really understand your question. Where he
No, in this rule, Purvakala, yeah, we have Samanadhikarana, isn't it?
Yeah, Samanadhikarana, he says it is continued till the end of the pada and therefore it is continued there. And it makes sense. What else do you want?
No. So, I mean, if that is there in the previous rule, when we have Visheshana Visheshya, so basically when we talk about Samanadhikarana, we are talking about Visheshana Visheshya relationship, isn't it? So, I mean, is
No, it is only, I mean, your question is related only to Anuvritti because the rule reads Purva Para Pratama Charama Jaganya Samana Madhyama Madhyama Virati. That's all. What is to be continued and what is to, not to be continued is actually the question. He continues the word Samanadhikarana, it doesn't mean that he doesn't continue the word Visheshana Visheshana. So here also, if you continue Visheshana Visheshana, it will make sense. Purvaha Purusha, Aparaha Purusha, it's okay. But Samanadhikarana also is there, and there is no problem in continuing Samanadhikarana as he says earlier also that it has to be there in the following rules also. There are many more rules to follow where the word Samanadhikarana is continued. And perhaps Visheshana is not there. So it's not something very serious or something which disturbs the Anuvritti or something which goes against I think.
I mean, no, the point is that, like, for example, we have the Anuvritti of Samanadhikarana. Now, the point is that then instead of saying Visheshana Visheshya, I mean, we don't really need Visheshya because if the Samanadhikarana term is still continuing by Anuvritti, so Visheshanam Samanadhikarana, and that would give us the same result ultimately, isn't it? So, I mean, if Panini still uses the word Visheshya, does he have something different in mind, or can there be, or could there be some more implications of his use of the word Visheshya, even when Samanadhikarana can actually serve the purpose, which we are also getting by Anuvritti?
is very difficult to understand, number one. Number two, as I said, if I have understood you correctly, of course, whether it is Samanadhikaranena or Visheshana Visheshana, which is continued in this rule, is better known to Panini, and this is only decided by the commentators. So suppose if you want to interpret the rule without taking into the commentary, taking into consideration the commentaries, and you continue the word Visheshana and Visheshana, would you interpret it differently from what commentators say? Because we really don't know whether Panini intended this these two words, Visheshana and Visheshana, also to continue in this. And also Samanadhikarana, we don't know, but from the context we understand that it has happened.
No, my point is basically about the redundancy of the word Visheshana, because I think that if we have Samanadhikaran continuing, in that rule also Visheshana Bahulam, Bhanuvritti, it can take care of the Visheshyas.
So how will you phrase the rule 57 then? How will you phrase the rule Visheshana and
Simply
Visheshana?
Vishesham Bahulam, Visheshanam Bahulam.
Visheshana Bahulam. So you don't want the other counterpart to be present there.
Yeah, because we are getting Samanadhikaranena, isn't it?
Actually, this kind of redundancy is not uncommon in Pani's sutras, and whenever it appears, he says this factor.
Yeah, I mean, so basically that was my question. That I mean, since we have Samanadhikaranena, but still he uses the word Visheshya, does he have really anything different in mind here, or is it just, as you said, Vispashtartham?
As the commentators explain these Vedakatva and Vedyatva, perhaps that could be Panini's intentions also. By merely saying Samanadhikaranena, this particular relationship between a Visheshana and Visheshana, namely that both are a Visheshana for each other and both are a Visheshya for each other, may not be clear if he says just Samanadhikarana. Because Visheshana can be Samanadhikarana with another Visheshana also. Like they say, later on we will be reading Varno Varnena. So Visheshanam Visheshyenapi Visheshanam Visheshanenapi Samanadhikarane Nena Samaso Bhavati. That could also be a meaning. Like Shukla Krishna. This is also Samanadhikarana Samas.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. Good. Yeah, okay, I think then probably now the time is going to be up. So should we stop here for today and then take up the sutra? Actually, we started reading, but we can then probably take it on Monday. Yeah, so I think, let me see. Yeah, it's almost 6:30. So I think let's stop here for today. And let's take the next sutra in our next class on Monday. Yes, so yeah, if there is any other question regarding the portion which we already read, we can take that up. Otherwise, we will stop here for today. Is there any question from the audience? No. Okay, so then we'll probably stop here today. So let me thank Professor Bhate for today's session, and also to all of you for participating and also participating in the discussion. So thanks a lot. Thank you very much to everybody. Have a nice weekend, and see you again on Monday. Yeah. So thank you, madam. Thanks. to everybody. Bye bye.